Okay, we're now live. I'm just going to give it a little bit of time before I start the London live stream. The London session is about to start in the next 3 minutes. So let me just give you guys like 3 minutes to join the stream, then we can start the live stream session. It is the first day of the week. For those of you who have been itching to get to trading, because as we know, on the weekends the market are closed, we finally have the start of the trading session. So hopefully this week is going to be profitable. I don't know about you guys, but last week for me was a week that I closed in the negative, and hopefully this week is going to be a profitable week. So I'm just going to give it a little bit of time before I start the live stream and I start to do the daily market forecast and breakdown for today's London session. So we are 1 minute to the start of the London session. Okay, so now that we are about to start the London session, let me give you guys a quick breakdown of the markets for today's London session and probably a little bit of forecast. Now I'll be doing this live stream for the first 2 hours of the London session. Hopefully we'll be able to get some opportunities during those 2 hour session, but if not, I will set the pace or just set the focus for what I'll be anticipating and what I'll be looking forward to as the day progresses from the London session into the New York session. So to start us off, I will start with the economic calendar for today and this week, and for this I use Forex Factory. So the first thing here we can notice is the news coming out of Iran over the weekend, and I'm going to show you the impact that this news had on the markets, on price action. So you can see that right here at the top here we had this coming from US Central Command launching more strikes against Iran to continue degrading their ability. Now you can even see here on the left you have Iranian Revolutionary Guard, continued US interventions. Like we had a lot of news coming from Iran. We know that last week Trump posed the ceasefire that they had. Now I've always said that you cannot look at the news being released, such as CPI and everything, but nowadays the market is moved a lot by what is coming from the news, or just tweets from Trump, or whatever Trump is going to announce regarding the Iran US Israel war. So that was the news, the high impact sort of news story coming out of the weekend. And as I've said, I'm going to show you the impact that this had on the markets. But first of all, let us just look at the economic calendar for this week so that we can be better prepared for the week coming. Know the days that we'll be trading, the days that I'll be live streaming, and the days that I might have to stay away from the market. Now I've filtered the news to only high impact news and maybe bank holidays and just bank holidays. So for today we don't have any news at all. So this is really the ideal type of day that I like to trade. On Tuesday we have French bank holiday, and you also have CPI being released in the US. Now the combination of these two news releases, the combination of the news release of CPI and the fact that we have a bank holiday in France, or which might affect the euro, this Tuesday for me is a day that I'll avoid taking trades. So for Tuesday there will be no trading, and also there will be no live trading session as a result. On Wednesday we have core PPI, PPI, and some news coming out on CAD. We also have the Fed Chairman Walsh testifies later on during the day, and we also have the Bank of Canada press conference. So on Wednesday I'll be back trading because but I'll be focused mainly on the London session. I'll try to avoid having trades in and around the release of core PPI and PPI, and also during the while the Fed chair testifies. On Thursday we only have one high impact news at 7 a.m. so this is a really ideal day to trade. And on Friday we don't have any news or any bank holidays. So for this week, today is on Monday. Today I'm trading. It is an ideal day. On Tuesday I won't be trading. On Wednesday I'll be back trading, but I'll be aware of the news coming out at 1:30 p.m. Now this is based on the London time. So this will be around 3:30 p.m. Kenyan time. Just add 2 hours. Kenya is 2 hours ahead, so 3:30 p.m. around that time. On Thursday we only have one high impact news coming out just before the start of the London session, 1 hour before the start of the London session. So we've now gone through the high impact news that will be released and what my trading calendar is going to look like this coming week. So right now let me go back to the charts. Now, as I said, the news coming out of Iran over the weekend caused some gaps during market open, especially on the indices and the commodities. So if we start with gold, you can see this huge gap at the market open. This is as a result of the war news coming out of Iran over the weekend, because the market are closed. So people, whenever the market opens, whenever we have such news, we get this huge gap. So you can see the huge gap on gold. I'm going to do the breakdown later, but first of all I'm just looking at how market opened. We had this huge gap. Also on silver, on the NAS we also had a gap, but we filled that gap and continued pushing lower. On the DAX we also had a gap and we continued pushing lower. On the Nikkei we had a small gap and price continued pushing lower. But now on oil, you can see that huge gap on oil, and this is as a result of the war resuming in Iran, and you can see that it has taken the prices of oil higher. So Holding trades over the weekend sometimes is tricky, especially on indices and commodities because of the war in Iran. Now that we have that out of the way, let me just quickly give you guys a breakdown of the pairs that I'm looking at for the London session, or at least the first 2 to 3 hours of the London session. So the pairs that look very promising for me today are the indices and commodities to start with. But I look at, no, it's fine. Let me go back to the indices and commodities. Had GJ on watch for the London session, but the London session open, but I think it will need a little bit more development. So let me start with the gold. Now, with gold, as I said, we had a huge gap on market open, and prices has continued to push lower. Now, although the price is still pushing lower, we can see we have the lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows. Like you can see, we are just pushing lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, and so on and so forth. But although we are pushing lower, I do not see enough conviction in the sellers to convince me that this selling pressure is going to continue for now from what I'm seeing, because this sort of price action for me is more like a descending nature, because every time we're breaking the low, we retrace, we get buyers, and then the next time we break the low again, we get buyers. We break the low again, we get buyers into the market, showing me that we have buyers ready to buy at these prices and not a lot of selling pressure to take prices lower. What I like to see is a market that is just pushing lower aggressively. So once we start push lower, we get a pullback, and then once we break the low, we continue pushing lower before we get another pullback. Same scenario, push lower again for a while before we get another pullback, and so on and so forth until we get signs of exhaustions. But in this instance, this is a descending nature where price is just moving sort of in a zigzag manner while going lower. So this is the scenario we're getting, and this is a sort of a descending channel. And normally whenever I get this sort of a descending channel, I start to look for reversal signs, and I'm now looking to see if I can take longs. So for gold today, we have this descending nature. I do not like to refer to it as a pattern because I don't not trade patterns, but the underlying price action beneath the sort of pattern or nature of price action, or some might say market structure. So as I always say, in case you're not able to see this market structure clearly while using the candlesticks, you can go down to the line chart and you'll be able to see it very clearly. So for gold today, I'm waiting to see if we can take longs, and let me just mark out the areas that I'll be looking at, my pivot highs and my pivot lows, so that you'll be able to follow along. So for now, this is the high I'm looking at, and this is the low. So for right now, I'll be ready to take trades once we break this high, and it's going to depend on how we break the high. So what I'd like to see is an impulsive push to the upside. We get a pullback, and then I can take long entries on the pullback. So what would I like to see on this push to the upside? I'd like to see two impulsive bullish candles, That's the first thing I'd like to see, because I want to see price breaking this high with a lot of strength on the first candle, and then I want to see another candle to confirm momentum, and then I'll look for the pullback to take continuation entries to the upside if I get my entry trigger. Now that is my forecast and for gold for today. Now this does not mean that gold might not continue to push lower. So it's just probabilities, and this is the high probability setup that I'll be looking at. In case we decide to continue pushing lower, I'll have to reassess and look at the strength of the selling pressure to see if I'll be able to get involved with a short or a sell entry. But for now, or for the first 2 to 3 hours until I get contradictory price action, my bias on gold today is to take longs. Now I'll be wary of this high over here, but we still have quite a distance before we get there, so I'm looking for longs on gold for today's London session. So when it comes to silver, I'm also looking for longs for today's session, although I'm a bit wary about this gap. Normally price tends to come and fill this gap, but you can see we already fill this gap somehow with this push. So for silver, I'm looking for longs. For now, this will be my pivot high, and this will be my pivot low. I'll be more interested in gold than in silver because the price action on gold is a little bit more clearer. On silver, we might need a little bit more development, but I'm also looking for longs on silver. So if we do break out impulsively, get a pullback, I'll be all over the long entry. And as I've said, just similar to what I'm looking at on gold in terms of the impulsive pushes, 2 impulsive bullish candles. Once you get the 2 impulsive bullish candles, it's all about waiting for the pullback, see if we can get my entry trigger to take longs. As I've said, price might also continue to push lower, so we might get into a scenario where we just range here for a while and then price breaks out of the range. And if we do that and we break outside of the range to the downside impulsively with a lot of selling pressure, I might consider taking shorts. On the NAS 100, I'm also looking for longs. So generally I like to buy when prices are low and sell when prices are high. So you can see in this market, we've trended lower for quite a while. So selling at these levels will not be ideal, but buying at these levels is ideal because you are buying low. And I'm also looking at price action. So when I look at this sort of price action, although price has been pushing lower, we do not have the sort of a descending channel here, but what we do notice is the strength of the candles. You can look at the candles in this push. This price continues to push lower. Yes, it is a trending market to the downside, but you see the size of the candles. This size in the candle shows just that there's very little volume, so there's not a lot of selling pressure to take advantage of trending markets. And it also shows that anytime you might get a reversal. Now we did get this sort of a reversal at first, but immediately sellers continued to push prices lower. So right now this is my high and this is my low, and in this instance, because you had this push to the upside and you got an immediate reversal, I was expecting price to range for a while, and we have already started to range within this area, this high. at this low. So we might continue ranging here for a while, take that high out, but continue ranging before we continue to push upwards. So I still have a long bias on NAS 100, so no matter how price is going to develop, I'm still looking for longs. So if we get a push, get a correction, I'll be looking to take prices higher. As I've always said, I'll be looking to see if we can break this pivot high impulsively, but for now I'm expecting market to range for a while. But in general, for the NAS 100 for today's London session, I have a long bias, and it's all about waiting to see how price is going to develop, or who is going to take control of the markets today. Are the buyers going to come in with a lot of buying pressure and take prices higher so that we can look for continuation entries, or are we going to range for a while and then the market is going to break lower with sellers taking control of the market and pushing prices lower? In that instance, I'll also reassess, see the conviction of the sellers by looking at the nature of the candles. Are they really impulsive? Do we have really strong selling pressure before I can look to get involved with sell entries? Now, with the DAX, I was looking for longs, but we've already had that push to the upside, and I'm a bit wary about this high over here, this area. Might get some resistance. I was waiting for this push to the upside, and we've already gotten the push. Now this last candle here in this impulsive push is a little bit a cause for concern in case for those who are looking to take longs, because you have some sort of an engulfing candle at the top here with this very bearish candle. Although we've continued to push higher, it is a bearish candle, and we've engulfed this entire bullish candle in that push to the upside. So we might get reversal of price, and we may not get continuation momentum. So at this moment in time, even though I had a long bias on the DAX, I won't be taking trades, first of all because of the nature of this last candle, and also because you have potential resistance levels over here. So on the JP225, we have a very similar price action to NAS 100 in a way. We had the gap, and prices has continued to push lower. Now, I've always said, whenever the market pushes lower like this, I normally start to look for signs of exhaustion. Sometimes that sign of exhaustion is in the form of a descending channel, where every time we're breaking the low, we are retracing, break the low, retracing, until eventually get a reversal in price. Or alternatively, once we get that trending market, at some point we get into a scenario where we're just consolidating, moving sideways before we get the reversal. This sort of price action aligns well with the Wyckoff principle, where we get an accumulation at the bottom of a trending market before we get the start of an uptrend. So when I look at this chart, we've had prices pushing lower throughout the Asian session, but when I look at this last leg of the downtrend, you can see the strength of the candles reducing just as they were in the NAS 100. And once we got this reduction in the size of the candles, we got a reversal here with this sort of some buying pressure in the market, but immediately sellers continue to push prices lower, but then again immediately we got bias into the market. So whenever we get this sort of a scenario where you're getting sellers and buyers in equal measure, you have to give the market some time to breathe. I was expecting a reverse range, just a sort of a consolidation, just like in the NAS 100, and we have that consolidation with these candles. This is a consolidation, and so what I'm looking for right now is, are we going to break out of this consolidation impulsively to the upside, get a pullback, and then I'll be looking for entries on the pullback to take prices higher. Now, these are the main pairs on watch for me today, or for this London session. So I have a long bias on the indices and almost all the indices and commodities. I'm looking for longs. On crude oil, I'm not going to get involved with crude with this very, very huge gap. I'm expecting prices to come and tap into these areas, into this gap, but I'm not going to get involved. For me, my focus right now is on this, the yen, NAS 100, gold, and silver. On the dollar denominated pairs, we are in this consolidation area. After a market that had trended upward for quite a while, we've gotten this sort of a consolidation. Now, until we break out of this consolidation, now the most ideal scenario with the DXY will be for us to break out of this consolidation and start to push lower, showing this will mean that we'll have weakness in the dollar. Now, I'm suggesting that the ideal scenario will be a short, because it will align very, very well with the Wyckoff's market cycles, because we've had a market that has been trending upwards. We've gotten the distribution at the top. Now, normally after a distribution, we get the start of a downtrending market. Now, I do not trade the DXY on its own, but I use it to form a bias on the dollar denominated currencies that I do trade. So for Euro USD, we're waiting to see if we can break outside of this consolidation. Now it aligns with price action on the DXY, because on the DXY we had been pushing high and then we got a consolidation. On the Euro USD we are going to get an inverse, and so right now we are waiting to see if we can break outside of this consolidation, and we'll have to wait and see if we're going to break outside impulsively or correctively. So what I mean is, I'm looking to see if we can break outside of this consolidation to the upside impulsively. I'll be looking to see if I can get a pullback to take long entries. Now, alternatively, because we have gotten this sort of a consolidation, if we decide to continue pushing lower, I'll have to wait until we break this low, get out of this consolidation area, and see how we are going to push to the downside impulsively. But the most ideal scenario will be to look for longs coming out of this consolidation, because as I've said, this aligns very well with the Wyckoff's principle. We've had a downtrend. This is now an accumulation where price is just moving sort of sideways, and so right now we are waiting to see if we can get some strong bullish candles coming outside of this consolidation. So I'd like to see 2 strong bullish candles coming out of the consolidation before I can start to look for entries on the counter, on the pullback. Now, on pound USD, it's similar price action to Euro USD. We've had a market that has been pushing lower. and now we have this sort of a market that is just moving sideways, and this range is even more clear, or more clearer than on the Euro USD. You can see it just moving sideways. Price is moving in a zigzag manner, and you can go to the line chart to see this. So just moving sideways, zigzag. This is typical price action in a range. So right now on pound USD, also waiting to see if we can push, and then we can look for entries on the pullback to take prices higher. So we also have a long bias on pound USD. Now remember, on the DXY, I was expecting to see if we can break outside of this area to push lower, which will mean that we'll have weakness, we'll have a weak dollar. So since we have a weak dollar, then it just goes and aligns well with price action on DXY, because on pound USD, because we're expecting the pound to show strength against the dollar, because the dollar, we're expecting the weakness on the dollar today. So I'll be looking to see if I can take longs coming out of this consolidation. On USD CHF, USD CHF will follow the price action on the DXY. So I'll be looking for shorts on USD CHF. See if I can break outside of this area impulsively. See if I can short the market. Now, I'm trading with the USD CHF. We are trading the US dollar against the Swiss franc. So because I'm expecting to sign a weak dollar during the London session, I will be shorting the dollar against CHF if we break outside of this consolidation. With Euro JPY, it's no longer a pair that I'll be looking at. You can see this huge wick we got about 15 minutes ago, just 10 minutes into the London session. When we had this initial push just before the London session, I was looking to see if I could take continuation entries, but this last candle here with a large wick was a warning sign for me that buying pressure might be exhausted, and indeed we got the reversal. But this huge wick, for me right now, I'll have to stay out of this market for a while, but we'll have to wait and see how we're going to, if you're going to continue pushing higher. But for shorts, we'll have to break this low of this week before I can even look at Euro JPY. I had Euro JPY and Pound JPY on watch, but you can see in both instances price action was very similar, and this is something that is common with when you're trading pairs that share a common particular pair, a particular currency. So you can see with the dollar denominated pairs, we have a lot of similarities in price action, which is also common in the yen pairs. We can see Euro JPY, very similar price action to Pound JPY or Pound Yen. So these two pairs right now, I will not be looking at them for the London session. So now that I've gone through the different pairs, on watch for the London session is Euro USD, Pound USD, looking for longs on both Euro USD and Pound USD. And for gold, I'm also looking for longs. For silver, I'm also looking for longs. For NAS, for the NAS 100, I'm also looking for longs. And on the JP225, I'm also looking for longs. So those are my bias for today and the currencies that I have on watch for this London session. If you have any questions, kindly leave them in the chat. And what pairs do you have on watch for today? Would you like me to have a look at any pair? Also let me know in the charts. So right now it's just a game of patience, waiting for price to come to my area or price to play out according to what I'm forecasting. As I've said, if you get contradictory price action, I will reassess based on what I'm seeing on the charts. Remember, we can do forecasting, we can analyze the markets, but at the end of the day, it is what different buyers and sellers are doing in the market, and we sometimes have to react to what different buyers and sellers are doing. So I do have my buyers, I know what I'm looking for. I'm just going to see how price is going to develop. Is that gold USD you're asking me to look at? Oh yeah, I think I've already analyzed gold, but I'm just going to go through it again. With gold, I said that I'm looking for longs on gold coming out of this large descending nature where price is just pushing low. As price is pushing low, we are getting immediate buyers in the market. So we get this sort of a scenario where every time we break the low, we retrace. You can see here once again we break this low with this candle, two candles with wicks, we retrace. Then we come break this low again of this candle and we retrace, get some strong buying pressure, but we did not get continuation of momentum to the upside. Instead, we continued with this sort of price action where we're just breaking lows and retracing, breaking lows and retracing. And this shows that there is not a lot of conviction in the sellers to take prices lower. So right now I'm looking for signs of reversal. I'm waiting to see if we can get to an impulsive push outside of this high, because this is my pivot high. So, and what I'll be looking for in the impulsive push is two strong bullish candles, and then I'll look to see if I can get an entry on the pullback. So for gold, I'm looking for longs. I don't know about you, but for me today, I have a long bias on gold. Now, this is analysis based on the 5-minute chart, so it's an intraday strategy. If you're analyzing from maybe a 1-hour perspective or daily perspective, you might get different bias. But for me on the 5-minute, and I'm trading off of the 5-minute. I do not use the multi-time frame analysis or top-down analysis. I look to take advantage of cycles within the 5-minute time frame. And when I look at the charts today, the opportunity on gold I can see might be on long entries. So I have a long bias on gold. So Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays are found to be generally slow. most of the action I get during Thursday, Friday, but it does not mean that every once in a while you won't get opportunities on Monday. So hopefully this is one of those Mondays where we get some trading opportunities, because the market really look really primed for some breakouts. So we'll be waiting to see if we can get some trend continuation plays. Nothing has changed on the other pairs. Starting to get some strong momentum on this candle on pound, so let's wait and see. But for now, for me to take entries on, I'm waiting to see how we are going to break this high. As I've said, we've already started to break the high. It's now about, are we going to break with a lot of conviction? Now that we want to see how this candle is going to close. We want to see this candle closing with a lot of strength. We don't want to see it retracing and leaving a large wick at the top. So we want to see this first strong candle and then the second candle to confirm momentum. As I said, I have a long bias on pound USD and on euro USD. So with euro USD, we have already broken outside of the range as I was anticipating. This will have been my pivot high. We've already have the first candle. You can see I was waiting for two strong bullish candles. So I'm going to wait for another candle to confirm momentum. One candle is not enough. So the pivot high. Now, we might get the push to the upside, but we might not get an entry, which is completely fine. But it's just good to see price sort of moving in the direction I was sort of forecasting. Hopefully we can take some trades together today on the live stream, which end up being wins. That will be really an ideal way to start off the trading week. So we've had a very strong candle close. So this is the sort of bullish candle I was talking about. So right now it's waiting for confirmation. We need this candle to close above the high of this candle. So we break this candle high and we continue pushing high and we get a strong bullish close. Then I'll be looking for the pullback now to take entries. So with pound, I'm also waiting to see how this candle is going to close. If it does not close above this high and we retrace, then might just get a continuation of the range. quick look at gold. Nothing so far on gold. Still waiting to see if we can break the high. Probably nothing also going on silver. Still have to wait. Also on the NAS, we're still waiting. Let me just have this pivot high on. So we'll have to wait and see how we're going to break this high. But for now, let's focus on price action on Euro USD. The first hour of the London session is sometimes a little bit slow, especially on a Monday. But we still have to show up regardless. Seems we're not going to get the confirmation candle I was looking for. If you do not get the confirmation candle, then the play for the long entries might actually play out on Pound USD more likely than they are at Euro USD, because we've had this push to the upside. So if you get this pullback, I'll have to move my new high to this level, the high of this candle, and wait for another impulsive break of that high. So now that we've got this candle close that did not break the high of this initial candle, I'm not going to move my pivot highs and my pivot lows. So this will be my low. So we've had the push coming outside of the consolidation as I was anticipating, but we did not get two strong bullish candles. So I'll have to wait again to see. I still have a long bias. We'll have to wait and see if we can get this continuation of momentum again. So again, I'm waiting to see if we can break this high of this candle with two strong bullish candles to take prices higher. So on Pound USD, this is just an extension of the range. So this is the high. Now I want to see if we can break. I need two impulsive candles. Breaking outside of this consolidation. Just move this to red because they are of high priority. So for those joining the live stream, just to update you, I'm looking for longs on Euro USD. I'm looking for longs on Pound USD. I have a long bias on actually all the pairs that I have on watch for today. Gold, silver, the NAS, and even the Nikkei. I'm looking for longs on all these pairs. And we might get the impulsive push during this London session. It's all about if you're going to get the entries. I think I'll also have a watch on AUD/USD. At the start of the London session, price action was very different, but right now we are sort of in this sort of a consolidation area. So if you do break outside of this consolidation area also impulsively, I'll be looking to take longs. I think the markets today are really primed for a breakout and some impulsive pushes. So hopefully you can get the trending markets that I'm looking for, and we might get entries, because sometimes the market might trend without providing you an opportunity to take entries. So hopefully if we do get the trends today, I will get an entry, and hopefully some of you will be able to take the trades with me. Hopefully get this impulsive pushes outside of the consolidation areas during this London session. We are now approaching the second hour of the London session. We're just about to finish the first hour of the London session, which has just been corrective apart from the push to the upside on Euro USD. So we've broken the high that I was looking at with this candle, and it is a strong candle, but now it's waiting to see if we can get another bullish strong candle like this, continuing the push to the upside. So this candle has continued to push higher, so it's about how it's going to close. You'll notice that I've said that this candle has broken this high, and it is the sort of candle I'm looking at. Although we've not closed above, it's enough that we've just broken, and it's still a very strong candle. So it's all about waiting for the confirmation candle now, which is this next candle. Are we going to get a very strong continuation of momentum to the upside so that I can start looking for pullback entries? So we are pushing higher, but still have a long way to go before we get the close of this candle. Let me just move this here. would like to see it closing, pushing higher, continue to push higher, and then we get a strong candle close. We are now into the second hour of the London session. Let's just have a quick look at pound USD. On the Audi USD. So this candle has continued to push higher, but would I be looking to take pullback entries? Not with this candle. I still want to see it pushing a little bit higher. I'd still like to see price pushing a little bit higher, so I'll wait for another candle. Strong, but it is a strong candle pushing higher, which is ideal. So right now I'm going to move my high. This will be my pivot low. So what I'm looking for right now is to see if this candle can break the high of this previous candle and it closes bullish with a strong candle close. Then I'll start to look for a pullback. I also know that we might be breaking outside of these consolidations on pound USD and on Audi USD, which is also ideal. As always, if you have any questions, leave them in the comment section. And if you have any pair that maybe I do not trade and you want me to look at, also let me know. If this candle does not break this high, I'm probably going to stop looking at Euro USD so much and focus more on pound USD and Audi USD. This is probably going to be a bearish candle close. Okay, so I'll probably have to start focusing on pound USD. Let me just mark this as green. So the red markers are for the pairs that on priority on watch. So let me just take a quick look at gold. So we're starting to break the high. In fact, we have broken this high. So right now I'm waiting to see if we can get the, I was looking for two impulsive bullish candles, but normally whenever we break, I'm looking just for the second candle to see if it's bullish and if it's impulsive candle. So we are starting to get the push to the upside that I was looking for. So let's wait and see if we're going to get continuation of momentum to take prices higher. So we've gotten the first candle closing above this high. Now it's all about this second candle. I want to see such strong momentum on this candle so that I can see if I can take shorts, if I can take long entries. Let me look at silver quickly. We've also pushed past the high, so it's all about waiting for that bullish candles, a strong impulsive bullish candle. As things stands right now, we've gotten the push, but not a lot of conviction. These are really small candles to show me that the buyers are actually have enough conviction to take prices higher. The NAS will yet to break the high. So on JP225, we've started to break the high, my pivot high. So it's all about waiting for those two strong impulsive candles. Now sometimes we might break with this with a small candle, but if the next candle is very impulsive, that is for me is confirmation of momentum, and I'd be looking to see if we can take long entries on the pullback. So, but for now, let me focus on this gold. Now, for me to get the impulsive push and to get my entry on the pullback, in this instance, I'm going to need like 15 minutes or 20 minutes for the setup to play out or to provide me with an entry. So you just have to be patient. I normally say that if I was not doing the live stream, I will not be sitting at the chart. I'd be aware of what's happening, and I'll be looking at the chart maybe after every 15 minutes just to give price action enough time to play out without wasting too much energy staring at the charts, which can add a lot of pressure on your trading, by the way. some sort of selling pressure at this level, so you still have to be patient, wait for price to break outside completely with a lot of strength before we can get involved. But the good thing is that even though this candle is bearish, we still continued with the push to the upside, so I'm still waiting for the confirmation candle. So if the next candle is going to be a strong bullish candle, then I'll be looking for pullback entries. Yeah, the pullback entries or the long entries are still in play. Let me take a quick look at what's happening on pound USD and AUD USD. Are we breaking outside of the range? Yeah. So I have to be really on, because I have so many pairs on watch. It's not always the case that the market presents opportunities like this, so we have to be super careful and very attentive not to miss out on any entries in case we do get the possible plays. Now we just started to push outside of the consolidation, but as I've not yet with the conviction that I'm looking for. I'm still waiting for a strong bullish candle, and when I'm talking about an impulsive push, you'll just see it on the charts, and you'll see price just moving upwards aggressively with strong candles. Now the bullish candles are the gray candles in this instance, the bearish candles are the black candles. I've actually done a video on how to set up your trading view charts, both for the light theme and the dark theme. What pairs do you guys have on watch for today? Starting to like to see this price action. I'd like to see price continue to push higher and higher. We don't have enough strength in the candles as of yet. Let me take a quick look at USD. Yes, we have also pushed outside of the consolidation area, and now we're waiting to see how this candle is going to close, because with this will have been the pivot low for this push, so we're just pushing outside of the consolidation, which is what I was forecasting at the start of the London session. But we're still waiting for enough strength in the market to take prices higher. Now with pound USD, I'm also wary of this high of the previous New York session, which was on Friday. Might get some potential resistance here, so I'll wait to see if we can break. That's why you can see I've already pushed. I have this forecast that we want to see price breaking outside with a lot of strength before we can look for entries on the pullback. Pushing higher as was forecasting or anticipating. Now for flag continuation entries, I don't think this push will be ideal, but let's wait and see. And see the price action on silver. We're pushing higher and higher, but let's just wait and see. I do not like the fact that we had this push to the downside and then we got the bullish momentum coming up immediately after this push. We get this sort of a V-shaped recovery. I do not like this sort of price action, but I'm still waiting to see if you're going to get a setup for this particular pair. If I do take longs on silver, I'll probably go in with reduced risk, not with my normal risk, because of this V-shaped price action. The most ideal entry will be on gold. So let's wait and see. This candle has already closed above this high. And now I'm going to start moving my high. My high right now is here. This is my pivot low. At this moment in time, I'm waiting to see if I can get an entry. A retest continuation entry will be ideal, unless we can get another very strong bullish candle. So let's wait and see how this candle is going to close. As I said, I have another maybe 15 minutes or so for this setup, for the trade setup to present itself, for my entry trigger. But we are getting the reversal I was anticipating, which is ideal. I've not looked at the Nikkei. Nikkei still needs a little bit more time, although we are starting to push higher. So it's waiting for the confirmation candle, which is an impulsive bullish candle. So for those joining the stream, for today I was looking for longs on actually all the pairs that I had on watch. Maybe apart from USD CHF, I was looking for shorts on USD CHF. I forgot to mark this out because we have broken outside of the consolidation. But I'm also wary of this low, so I want price to break this low first of all before I can start to look for entries. I really like this push outside of this consolidation area on AUD/USD. It really aligns with the forecast that I had at the start of the London session. So I'm now waiting for pullbacks on AUD/USD. I'm already satisfied with this impulsive push to the upside, and prices continue to push higher. So it's all about seeing if we are going to get reversal entries, the continuation entries to take trend continuation plays. You can also see price action on pound is now ideal. We've broken this high that I was a little bit wary about, so I'm also now waiting to see if we can get continuation entries. This high is no longer relevant. This is now the new high, but I'll wait for price to continue pushing higher. So this is now my pivot low over here. This is now my high. Now I'm now waiting for the pullback to see if I can get entries. Now I can either take retest continuation entries or flag continuation entries. Let me just see quickly what's happening on Euro USD. We did continue with momentum, so I'm also looking for longs. Now at the start of the session, I was anticipating this reversal in price because you were in this consolidation. You can see here, this is the start of the London session, and I was waiting to see if price could break outside of this consolidation to see if I could get continuation entries to the upside. We have gotten the continuation of momentum, but we have not yet gotten our entries. It's now waiting to see if we are going to get the opportunity to take the trade or not. As I said, sometimes price might move without you, which is completely fine. No need for that right now. That was the forecast for the market open. I also don't need this anymore. Similar to this, I don't need this. Now you can see I had forecasted this move at the start of the London session. You can see I was looking for shorts on Swiss franc and USD Swiss. So let me take a quick look at gold. Yes, we are pushing higher, but these last two candles are a little bit a cause for concern because they show reduced momentum in the push to the upside. So still have to wait and see if we can get another bullish candle. On silver, as I've said, I do not like the fact that we have this sort of V-shaped recovery, but the overall price action, seeing that we are coming from a market that had been trending lower for quite a while, I might just take this as a valid trade with reduced risk if I do not get any other setup. So the NAS 100, yes, we started pushing past the high. Was my pivot high. So now I want to see if I can get a confirmation candle. You can see I still have this forecast for longs. And on JP225, we still have to wait for a little bit more development. So right now, let me focus on AUD/USD. I'm looking to see if I can take longs to continue this push. And I'm also looking for entries on GBP/USD. Continue with this push to the upside. Price is still pushing upwards. I've not yet gotten an entry, so let me just remove this for now. This also has to be red right now. I have to be on high alert for an entry on this. It would have been ideal if I had gotten my entry around this area, but price pushed without giving me an opportunity to enter. So I'm going to wait and see if I'm going to get any other more opportunities to take prices higher. Now I do not have a problem taking these trades because I'd forecasted already this sort of price action, and that's the good thing about forecasting or analyzing the markets just before the start of the session, so that you can have a bias. Because right now, if I get an entry, I'll be very comfortable taking the trade without having any fear whatsoever, because I'm better prepared as I'd already forecasted and analyzed the markets prior. So right now it's just it's just about waiting for my entry. So this is the low right now, pivot low. Price is continuing to push higher. Now I'm waiting for the first counter trend candle so that I can start to look for entries on the pullback, because the first counter trend candle will be the start of the pullback. And so in this instance, by a counter trend candle, what I mean is, because you can see all the candles in this push, the upside, you can see this candle breaks the high of this candle. Now, after Now every candle following breaks the high of the previous candle. So you can see with this candle high, we got the high here. This next candle broke the high of this candle. This next candle broke the high of this candle. This candle has also broken the high of this candle. Now what I'm looking for a counter trend candle is a candle that does not break this high of this candle right now. So if you get a candle that just closes around this area without breaking this high, then that will be the first counter trend candle, and it will be the start of the counter trend move, where I start now to look for an entry trigger. Now we've had a weak, large wick at the top here, but it's completely fine. Let me just check on the other pairs. Now with pound USD, I'm a little bit worried because of these two candles. If it was just one with a wick, it's okay, but now that we have two consecutive candles with very large wicks, this is a warning sign for me that we might not, where the buyers are getting exhausted, or price might stop continue pushing higher. So I'm not looking at entries right now on pound USD because of these two last candles. On AUD USD, although we had a wick on this candle, we still had a very large body. So I'm still looking for entries on this particular pair to take long. So I'm waiting for this candle to see if, as I said, a counter trend candle is not going to break this high. So this candle, if it closes around this area, it will be the start of the counter trend move, and I'll be looking to see if I can get my flag continuation entry, or what will be, some may refer to as a complex pullback entry. For this right now, move to green. With USD CHF, we are getting some reaction of this potential area of resistance I was talking about. So I'll have to wait and see if we can break outside first of all of this potential area of resistance here. Let me just take a quick look at gold. So we've continued pushing higher and higher and higher, which is what I like to see. Now on gold right now, I'm also waiting for my entry trigger to see if I can get the pullback. First of all, I'm waiting for the first pullback candle, because as you can see, price is just pushing higher with each candle closing above or breaking the high of the previous candle. So this candle has broken the high of this candle. This candle has broken the high of this candle, and the next candle continues with the same sequence. And you can see when this candle is continuing to push higher. So we have not yet gotten my counter trend move, but we do have the impulsive push that I was anticipating at the start of the London session, coming out of this large descending nature. So it's all about waiting to see if I can get a pullback, to see if I can take continuation entries to the upside. That will be really ideal. silver, I've said this is a secondary play. In case I do not get entries on any other pair, I might look at silver to take if it presents me with an entry, because we are still pushing higher. We've continued with the momentum to the upside that I was waiting for. On the NAS 100, we have broken the high, but not with a lot of conviction. You can see these candles don't give me enough confidence to start looking for continuation plays, because I like to look for an imbalance in buying and selling pressure. So in this instance, I'm not convinced that we have an imbalance, although I was waiting to see if we could get longs today. So all we need right now is one strong bullish candle like this. If we can get this sort of a candle in this push, it will be very ideal. So let's be patient, but we have to be on the lookout because you have so many pairs on watch right now. Now we did get the counter trend candle I was looking at. So right now I'm waiting for my entry trigger. And if I do get my entry trigger, now I have two possible entries that I might take. I may take a retest continuation, or I might take a flag continuation around this area. For a retest, I'll have to wait and see if we can break this high impulsively, then look for the retest entry. Now I do hope that if we do get an entry, we'll be able to take the trade with some of you. I will let you know when I'm about to enter, and also where I will have my stop. And if the trade ends up being a winning trade, then you'll also be able to see how I'm going to manage the trade. For now, it's being patient and waiting for my entry. We have the pullback that I was looking for, but we do not yet have my entry trigger. If you want to know more about price action trading and even get the intrinsic details about my trading plan and entries, and be able to follow along even more better in the live streams, then there will be a Discord community available within the next few weeks. And those of you who will be interested, you can just let me know. And I'll give you a first priority once the Discord community is launched. So we also had the push on the counter trend move on ODSD, but I do not like what I'm seeing in this pullback candle. I'm seeing a lot of volume, which is not ideal when we're in the counter trend move. I do not want to see this candle should not have the same size as the candles in the push to the upside. But we'll have to wait and see how this candle is going to close. So far, with this wick at the top and this sort of strong candle in the counter trend, it is more likely than not going to invalidate continuation entries to the upside. But on Euro USD, I'm still very actively looking for long entries. I'm just waiting for my entry trigger. And when I do get the entry, then I'll obviously let you know before I take the trade, so that those of you who are interested in taking the trade also, you can take the trade with me. But we might also not get the entry trigger, and price might continue to push without us, as we did in this instance. I was waiting to see if I could get a pullback entry on this initial push outside of the consolidation, but we did not get the entry. We got the pullback and price continued to push higher and higher. So I'm currently waiting for the entry setup on Euro USD for my entry trigger to take prices higher. This is price action that I had forecasted at the start of the London session. You can go and check the start of the live streams. We were in this sort of a consolidation area here at the start of the London session. I was waiting for price to break outside, which was my forecast for today. And we have actually gotten the push to the upside, but we have not yet taken a trade. I'm waiting to see if we can get an entry around this area, waiting for my entry trigger. Now, as I've said, more details about my trading strategy and price action concepts, including my entry trigger and all the other intrinsic details, will be available in the Discord community. And you can just let me know if that is something you'll be interested in. Let me know so that I can give you some priority when the Discord is going to be launched, which will be in a few weeks' time. Now, these are the sort of candles I like to see in a pullback. Small candles compared to the candles in the push to the upside. Now you can see this compared to the candles in the AUD/USD push to the upside. This is why I've said that this is no longer ideal for me. So let me just leave it at green. You can see these are the counter trend candles I like to look for, because I don't want to see a lot of volume in the counter trend, because you want to see very little selling pressure. If there's strong counter trend moves to the downside, then you're more likely than not going to get a reversal, complete reversal. So this is ideal. It's just about waiting for my entry trigger. Let me just take a quick look at what's happening on gold. Yeah, we now have the counter trend move. So also on gold, I'm starting to look for the entry trigger. So let me just mark this out as red, because it's high probability, it's high priority, high probability. Silver, as I said on silver, I was waiting to see. I was not that bullish on silver. It will be more of a valid trade. The NAS 100 we have pushed higher, but we don't have conviction. We don't have strong buying candles showing us that buyers are ready to take prices higher. So I'm still staying out of that and waiting for price to develop. Similar to the Nikkei, we are pushing higher as anticipated, but not with a lot of strength. So still waiting for strong momentum to kick in. So for now, priorities on Euro USD and gold. Have you guys taken any trades so far? And what do you have on watch for today? Hopefully we can get a win on the stream to start to kick off the week. So for those joining the live stream, at the start of the London session, I was waiting to see if we could get an impulsive push outside of this descending nature, and we've gotten the push to the buying pressure that I was waiting for. So it's all about waiting to see if I'm going to be presented with an entry, with my entry trigger, to see if I can take prices higher. Similar to Euro USD, I'm waiting for my entry trigger. So just before you take the trade, I will let you know, so that those of you who are interested in taking the trade also can get in on the move with me. Hello, Spy. Okay. Let me see. If I can send you a link. First of all, let me focus on this entry. So what strategy do you currently trade, Spy? If you don't mind me asking. Still waiting for my entry trigger. So what I'd like to see is this candle not breaking this low, and then the next, but that will be too much detail for this live stream. As I've said, the entry trigger and the intrinsic details about the strategy will be available in the Discord. It will be difficult for me to explain right now what my entry trigger is, but before I take the trade, I'll let you know. Hopefully we might get the entry trigger before price continues to push higher. Still waiting for my entry trigger. Let me just take a quick look at gold. I've also not yet gotten my entry trigger. Now this is price action that I'd forecasted at the start of the London session. So it would be really ideal if I could get my entry on either pair or on both. Basically what I'm looking here is some sort of zigzag price action, and then I can take a pullback. A pullback entry. Are you guys in any trades today? Or what are you looking at for today's London session? For those joining the live stream, I'm waiting for my entry trigger to take longs on Euro USD, and I'm also waiting for an entry trigger to take longs on gold. See what my stop are for retest continuation entries. I won't be able to take retest continuation entries because the stop will be too big. So for now, the only entry possible is the flag continuation, which is what I'm waiting for right now. I'm waiting for the entry trigger. I've not yet gotten the entry trigger. We might get it after this candle, after the close of this candle. But this candle might also continue with a strong momentum and we break the high. And at that point, I will no longer be looking to take the entry that I'm looking for right now. If we break this high, it invalidates continuation entries to the upside, because for the retest continuation entry, my stop will have to be, but it depends. Let me wait and see. For retest continuation, I'd like something like a 5 pip stop, something like that, or 4.5, which I don't think will be possible. So the most likely scenario for me taking a trade on this particular pair will be a flag continuation entry. Waiting for New York session. Okay, so do you trade only the New York session? And did you tell me that you actually trade ICT concepts? Maybe it was another person. I still like the nature of the candles in the pullback, not a lot of strength. So it's all about if you're going to get the entry trigger. I like how this candle is shaping up. This pattern is shaping up inside this consolidation area, this pullback area. I might get my entry in the next candle. Let me just see. Would like a stop of around 7 to 8 pips. I've not yet taken the trade, so I'm waiting for this candle now or any other candle after here to break the low of this candle and to close bullish. That will be my entry trigger. It's all about patience right now and waiting for price to come to my area, not to force any trades. Hopefully you can be able to take the same trade with some of you, and hopefully it will be a win. Quick look at gold. Yes, also on gold, I'm waiting for price to break this low of this candle and to close bullish to take continuation entries to the upside. Now, if both pairs present an opportunity to take the trade, I will take both trades. I won't have an issue. I just don't like to have more than 2% risk open. So this will have to be the only 2 trades that I will take with 1% risk on each trade. So for those joining the live stream, I'm actually waiting for my entry trigger to take longs on Euro USD. Hopefully I'll be able to take the same trade with some of you. So right about now, I want to start position sizing these trades, especially on gold, because position sizing on MT5 on the commodities and indices sometimes might be a little bit tricky. So for this particular pair, probably need, let's see, yeah, 730 stop. So let me just first of all, let me take a quick look on Euro USD. Position sizing forex pairs is basically very easy. So let me just position size this trade. We almost got We broke, I was waiting to see if we could have broken this high, this low, then get a bullish candle close, but we've not yet. This candle did not break this low, so I'm not yet taking the trade, but I'm just preparing myself to position size the trade because this will be market entry orders. So I better position size the trade before, so that I'm only left with execution. So when position sizing, I use the Wanda charts for analysis, but when I'm about to place my trades, I prefer to use the feed from my broker. I'm just using this for position sizing. So we've not yet got my entry trigger on Euro USD. Still focusing on position sizing on this. Well, but let me just focus on Euro USD first of all. The thing about Forex pairs is it really doesn't matter which your broker. The feed on almost all brokers are the same especially in terms when it comes to lot sizes, they are equal, they're similar. So position sizing trades on Forex pairs is very easy, especially if you're executing on MT5. The indices and commodities can be a little bit tricky. just trying to figure out the stop that I'll use on Euro USD. So I'll probably use a 5.5 or a 6 stop, 6 pip stop. First of all, still waiting for my entry, waiting to see if we can break this low, the low of this candle, and then look for a bullish candle close. Still waiting for my entry trigger on Euro USD to take prices higher. I'm looking for longs. So I'm going to use a 6 pip stop. Still waiting for the entry trigger. I'm not going to force the trade. It's so easy in such instances where you know you've had the pullback, you had anticipated and and forecasted this sort of price action. It's very easy to take a trade before your entry trigger, but let's just be patient. I'm waiting to see if we can break this low. And this candle is really approaching that low. So if we break this low and then we close bullish, I'm going to take the trade. I've already figured out the position sizing for this particular trade. So it's all about execution. I'm going to use a 6 pip stop on this trade. We only still have quite a distance before I come and take out this low. So priority right now is on Euro USD. Have we broken this low? 58. Not yet. Just need to break this low and then we close bullish. So if this candle just pushes low a little, what is the low? We have not broken this low. Still waiting to see if we can break the low. We must have broken the low right now. We have not yet broken. It's just at the same level. Just push a little bit low. That's it. Still have not broken, but we're still waiting. Now this candle might provide us with the entry. I want to see it pushing just a little bit lower like that. Now we've broken this low. So it's all about how this candle is going to close. We are now waiting for a bullish candle close. Bullish candle close will be just a candle, a gray candle. So that's what I'm waiting for. Let me even just be ready to execute. Euro USD. This will be a market entry order. So I'm waiting to take a long entry on Euro USD. Hopefully some of you will be able to take the trade with me. Now I'm waiting for this candle to close. As I've said, I'm waiting for a bullish candle close. It might be this candle or it might be the next candle. As long as you get a bullish candle close, I'm going to place an entry, a buy entry. So in case you're looking to take the trade with me, you're waiting for a bullish candle close. This would be a market entry order. So now we are starting to get a reaction of this level. So it's all about how this candle is going to close. If it closes bullish, I take an entry. Can you give away a funded account? Not at the moment. I'll see if I can collaborate with maybe a broker that pro firm that can offer the funded accounts for the giveaways. So we are now getting the bullish. It's all about how it closes. We still have to wait until this candle closes. You're waiting for a bullish candle close. As I said, I'm going to use a 6 pip stop on the entry. The funded account giveaways, I'm going to see what I can do about it, but not at the moment right now. There have been some prop firms that have been wanting to work with me, but some of them have really shady rules. So I've just avoided. I don't want to give you guys giveaways on prop accounts that will not end up paying you. So let's just be patient with that, but there will be the giveaways as time continues to go on. But I'll have to get the right partner. Or you're asking if I myself could give away the funded accounts. So we are 30 seconds away from the close of this candle. So if it closes like this, as I said, I'm waiting for a bullish candle close. A bullish candle close will be gray. So if we do get a bullish candle close, I'm taking the entry. So we are almost 15 seconds away from the close of the candle, and I'll be ready to execute. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now buy. So I've placed my entry. I've gotten filled at 75. So right now I want to place my stop. So I've been entered at 75. I'm going to use a 6 pip stop. So let me just place my stop on my broker's end. My stop will be at 0.14315. So depending on where you've been filled, if you've taken the trade, just have your stop 6 pips below. Okay, so now I have my stop. As you can see, I got filled a little bit higher, which is just normal with spreads. Now, if this trade ends up being a loss, it will be completely fine. It is a high probability setup that I had been anticipating and forecasted since the start of the London session. We are now 2 hours into the London session, and I've just taken the trade. I don't know how many of you have also taken the trade. Yeah, I've heard about Hola Prime. I'm actually in conversations with them, just initial conversations. So but on my end, I'll start to do the giveaways maybe at the end of the month. From my end, that will be not from any prop firm. So stay tuned for that. Just continue watching the live streams, and I will start to do the prop giveaways at some point. So have you been able to take the trade? How many of you have also taken the trade? Just let me know in the chat. Let me include a poll. Normally when I take this continuation entries, I like to see price continue to push higher. I don't like to see price hovering around this area for quite a while, because it normally results in a loss. So if we do start to push higher right now or within the next 2 candles, then this is probably going to be a winning trade. But if we hover around this area for more than like 5 candles, I'll be a little bit more worried. But already have my entry and I already have my stop. There's nothing more I can do. It's just letting the trade to play out. Now let me look at gold. We did not get the entry trigger on gold, so we'd have to break this low before I look to take longs. We are now in drawdown, and we might get tagged out of this trade, so let's just wait and see. But if price continues to push higher, this is one of those trades that can really move within a short period of time. Ideally, just start to push higher from now. So hit the first, the 2 hours of the London session live stream, which was my initial target. But since we already have this open trade, I'm going to see if you're going to get the chance to manage the trade. Entering the trade is one thing, managing the trade is another. Right now, I do not need to manage the trade because I already have my stop. I'll start to manage the trade once we break this high. I'm still in the trade, but barely. Hopefully price starts to push higher because right now I'm in dip. I'm almost getting tagged out of the trade. We're still barely surviving. So we are currently in on this Euro USD long, although we are in drawdown, just barely survived being tagged out by maybe a pip. We might get tagged out of this trade, which will be a 1% loss. So we might also get another setup on gold. Let's just wait and see how this first of all plays out. I have been tagged out of this trade most likely. Yeah, I've been tagged out of the trade. So this is a 1% loss. And I want to focus on this trade on gold. Let me just focus on position sizing. As I said, with this particular pairs, the indices and commodities, I like to use the price feed from my broker. So I have finished position sizing. So the charts from one are the cleanest in terms of using them for analysis. It's just what I've gotten used to over time. So far I've taken a loss on Euro USD. Let me just mark this out. That's 1%. Our price might continue to push higher. Some of you might be wondering why I had a stop that looks so small, but no, it's not small. It is based on the way I place my entries. I could see the sizes. I place the entry based on the sizes, the stop based on the sizes of the candles in the counter trend move or in the pullback. So this is just one of those instances where I've been tagged out and price is now starting to push higher. I may have used, if I'd used a 7 pip stop, I will still be in the trade. But that is in hindsight. A 6 pip stop on this instance was more than enough. So I'm going to wait and see if I'm going to get an entry on gold. I'm still waiting for the entry trigger on gold. So for those joining the stream, I've just taken a loss on Euro USD. This has just taken me out and now it starts to go in my direction. So right now my focus is on gold. To see if I can get an entry on gold. Okay, now that we've taken out this low, it's now waiting for the bullish candle close. See if we can take an entry on gold. So I've actually already position sized the trade. It's all about execution. To see if I can get a long entry right now. So any moment now I'll be able to take another long on gold, another long entry on gold. Now at the start of the London live stream, I was looking for longs on all the pairs that I had on watch. I've been able to take one trade on Euro USD, which has just been a loss, but there is no time to spend too much time on that loss. I have another possible entry on gold, so I'm focusing on that, and this will probably be the only trades for me today. I also don't like to over trade, and hopefully we're going to get a win on gold, because on Euro USD it was a loss, and now we are waiting for this candle to close. I'm waiting for this candle to close bullish to take the entry. Now obviously the entry will be executed on my Blueberry broker platform, so I might use the Blueberry charts to see how price is going to develop, or I can just stick to the Oanda, and I'm going to let you know if I'm going to get tagged out on my broker's end. I've said that when it comes to indices and commodities, you might get a different price feed or even lot sizes depending on the broker that you use. They are not as straightforward. The indices and commodities are not as straightforward as the forex pairs. So right now I'm waiting for this candle to close bullish to execute. Waiting for this candle close to take long entries to execute the entry. If this candle closes bullish, that will be my entry trigger. This will be a market entry order. So I'm just going to wait for my trade to be filled, then I'm going to place my stop. Always have a stop. I always have a stop on all my entries. Now, I've normally said that my strategy has a low strike rate, win rate. So we have about maybe between 28 to 33%, 35%, or just average it at 30% win rate. So taking losses is part and parcel of the strategy. I do take more losses than I take wins. But the good thing is I cap my losses to 1% and I let my wins to run as long as they possibly can by locking in profit. So my wins have a high risk reward, which now offset the many losses that I normally take. So we might take this trade and it also ends up being a loss. So we'll end up having 2 losses for today. But we might take the trade and it ends up being a win, and we end up having a one loss and 1 win. In that case, you'll be able to, let me just take the trade. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, buy. Okay. Now I've been entered into the trade for 74.56. 47.56. So let me just go to my broker's end me just set my stop. No. Those of you who are interested in taking the same trade, I've just taken a long entry. Okay, go build that at 4074.56. So my stop is at 650. So that will be 4068.06. Okay, so I now have my stop. Let me just place the stop in my broker's end. Okay, so the trade is now set. I think I'm just going to monitor from this end so that you'll be able to see if I'm tagged out of the trade or not. But basically, in the morning I was waiting to see if we could get impulse coming out of this descending nature, which we did get. And I've been waiting for like 2 hours to get the entry, and I've just taken my entry. So let's wait and see how price is going to play out. So I've risked 1% on this trade, and I risked 1% on the Euro USD trade, which has been a loss. But let me just see how that trade is playing out. So it's still in, we've not continued to push higher. So even if I had a 7 pip stop, I would still have been tagged out of the trade. So the stop was not the issue. But let me now focus on gold. Now, in case you're looking for a broker to trade with, you can find a link to my broker in the description box. So we are in drawdown. My stop is at 4068.06. So for those joining the live stream, I'm currently in on gold trade. I've taken a long entry. Price is just within just slightly drawdown around my entry area. I've already taken one loss today, so waiting to see how this trade is going to play out. Hopefully it's a win. It's a loss, it's also fine. As I've said, I do have a low win rate, so taking losses is just become a normal part of trading. Seems like I might get tagged out of this trade. Let's see how I'm going to react at this level. Have you guys taken any trades today? Right now, it's just about being patient. Now, I've taken 2 trades today so far, so I'm not sure if I'll be taking any other trades today. I don't like to overtrade, placing too many trades in one day. Tomorrow is also another day. Although at the start of the stream, I went through the news cycle for this week, the economic calendar. So, and tomorrow we have CPI and a European bank holiday. So, for tomorrow I'm not trading, and also as a result, I want to do the live stream tomorrow. So the next time I'll be trading probably will be on Wednesday. But right now I'm in this gold trade. I have a long entry, I have my stops. Currently the trade is running at about negative 0.5%. We're now approaching 3 hours of the live stream or of the New York session. So far, I've taken 1 loss and I'm in on a gold trade that is currently in drawdown. Now the good thing about my trades is if I'm wrong about the entry or the direction of the trade, or just something is wrong with the trade, I'm in and out as fast as possible. I cap my losses to 1% and I move on to the next trade. And if the trade is going to be a win, then I allow it to run as fast as possible and just managing the trade as price continues to push higher. Hopefully, in this instance, this particular gold trade is going to give us an opportunity to manage the trade, so that we'll be able to see how I actually manage the trade and lock in profits as price continues to push higher. But for now, we are in drawdown and we just have to be patient and wait. So if you also have any questions, kindly let me know in the chat. We've been seated for almost 3 hours now. It's becoming a little bit uncomfortable. We might just have to take our L's and move on, because this price just seems to be hovering around this drawdown area and pushing towards my stop. Now my stop is at 4068.06. If I'm tagged out of this trade for a loss, that will be it for today's trading. And if it continues to push higher and I'm able to lock in profits, it will also be I'll also be satisfied with that for today's trading, because I've already taken a loss in the morning on Euro USD. Let me just see what's developing on other pairs, because price has really moved since we started the stream. You might get short plays on Euro USD, Euro JPY, and New Zealand JPY. Yeah, and even maybe New Zealand JPY. They might provide shorting opportunities. But if I'm to take another trade, it will be just one trade maximum. Because taking 2 trades in a day already is a lot of trading for me. So with USD CHF, this is no longer in play. Neither is Saudi USD and neither is pound. So but let me just go back to gold. I'm still in the trade. I've not yet been tagged out. Silver, I'm no longer looking at. Same with NAS and also the JP225. So for today, for today's London session, I've already taken a Euro USD loss, and I'm now in a gold trade that is currently in drawdown, but I'm not yet out of the trade. So price is actually pushing towards my stop. If price starts to push higher, we have quite some room for the trade to run. This will be a really nice trade if it does not tag me out and pushes higher. Do any of you guys have any trades open today? Have you taken any trades? And what's your bias on gold, by the way, for today? Really super tired. So for those joining the stream, I'm currently in on this gold entry. It is a long trade. It's a long entry, and I have my stop at 4067.530. The trade is currently around 0.5% in drawdown. So I capped my risk at 1%. So this trade has a 1% risk open. So if price comes and tags me out at this level, I'll be out for 1%. And since I already had another 1% loss on Euro USD, I'll close the day at minus 2%. All we need right now is one really strong bullish candle to take us all the way to these highs, break the high, and continue to push higher. That's all we need. One strong bullish candle. We need the buyers to come into the market right about now. Because if the price continues to push lower anymore, I might probably get tagged out of this trade. Let me just take a quick look at what's happening on. So there's a possibility for shorts right around now. Let me see if I can take one trade on Euro JPY. Just position size. Just take a quick look on so we are starting to push higher. Now the entry for Euro JPY is supposed to be at this level. I can still take this trade. And I'm actually going to take the trade. It's giving me an opportunity to even get in at better prices. But I've not taken this trade as of yet. Let me just short. So I've taken a short. Let me see where I got filled at. Got filled at 63. My stop was 7 pips. Okay, so now I have my entry on Euro JPY and also have my entry on gold. So with gold, we are starting to push a little bit away from my stop, but I'm still in drawdown. And I also have an open entry on Euro JPY, which I've just taken. This is a retest continuation entry. The reason why I took this trade is because we had a market that has been pushing upwards for quite a while. I was looking for continuation entries initially when I got this push, but this last candle here was a warning sign for me not to get involved. At the start of the London session, we had this huge spike. And then at this point, I was not looking to get involved. But since we've continued to push higher, I was now looking to see if I could get signs of exhaustion, to see if I could take reversals, because as I say, I normally like to sell when prices are high and buy when prices are low. So once we got this sort of a doji at the top, we just broke with a wick and we retraced, and we had a consecutive selling candles. This was for me an indication that price might continue to push lower. So my entry trigger was supposed to be at this candle, but I was a little bit low, I was a little bit late and was entered, but it was still within the same entry area. So right now I have this short. I did not get the chance to break down this trade that much because I was focusing on the gold and Euro USD trade. So I have an open order on Euro JPY right now, slightly in drawdown, and I have this long entry on gold. Today has presented me with many, at like 3 entries. It's not always the case, but those are the maximum trades I'm going to take today, unless this trade can move into profit and I can start to move my stop so that it runs risk-free. The good thing about today is we do not have any high impact news coming out, so you don't have to worry about slippage in case we get a spike in price. But these are high probability trades that I've taken today. I did not have this on watch, but when I looked at the chart, the opportunity was there. Price really moved, developed really fast during the London session, and I was focused on Euro USD, but at least I've not missed the trade. Whether it's a win or a loss, it's all about whether it's a high probability setup, and this for me was a high probability trade. It is a different type of entry from the gold entry and the Euro USD entry, but price is pushing long, so I'm just slightly in profit on this trade, but not yet out of the woods. I'd like to see price continue to push lower so that I can move my stop. Right now I still have my stop at 1% risk, and my stop is at 185.233. Let me just see the progress on the gold trade. Right now I have to manage 2 open orders, 2 open entries. I'm still in drawdown on gold. On Euro JPY, price is just slightly below my entry. You could, I know you could see me hesitating a little bit before taking the Euro JPY trade, and that was because I'd not looked at it for a while. it was a surprise just looking at it and seeing that we had this strong sell-off. So it matched my entry, my high probability setup, so I took the trade. Now it's just a game of patience. Now, already took one loss on Euro USD. That is maybe one of the reasons why I hesitated a little, because I don't like to have too many trades in one day. Because I had a loss on Euro USD and I still have an open order on gold. So this is the third trade I've taken. But tomorrow I'm not taking any trades, so maybe today has presented me with opportunities to compensate for tomorrow. As I say, tomorrow we have CPI from the US, and we also have a French bank holiday. So I won't be taking any trades, mainly because of the CPI being released. So let me now have this split screen so that I can monitor both trades. Okay, so both trades are in drawdown. I might have to end up today with down 3% if both trades end up as losses. So with the gold trade, I'm about 0.5% in drawdown. The Euro JPY trade, it's just hovering around my entry. So for those joining the live stream, I'm currently in on a long on gold, and I have a short on. Oh, why did this now move to Euro JPY? I have a short on Euro JPY and I have a long on gold. Both trades are now running in drawdown, but I've not yet been tagged out of the trades. I actually took a 1% loss on gold, on Euro USD. So for today, I'm actually, at this point, I'm not taking any other trades. 3 trades in a day are more than enough, whether they are wins or losses. We'll live to fight another day. If you have any questions, let's engage in the chat. Omar, what's up? You also have longs on gold from 50s. Might get tagged out of this gold trade. You're still in the trade, but deep in drawdown. I've reached 1%, so right now I'm about maybe down 0.7%. Do you have a stop? Because I can see from my end, my stop is not that far away from being tagged out. Don't know about you. Both trades are in drawdown. I'm down about 0.5% on gold, on euro, JPY, and down around 0.7% on gold. Gold is really testing today these levels. As I said, all we need right now on gold is one impulsive bullish candle like this, or two to take us outside of this high, and then I can start moving my stop. I don't know even why I'm looking at the one chart. I'm looking at the wrong chart. It should be blueberry. I might have, but I'm still not tagged out, but almost getting tagged out of this trade. Let me just confirm. Almost getting tagged out of this trade. So this is the feed from my broker's end, which is the feed I should be looking at. Gold. So just about to get tagged out. We are barely surviving. About, let me see if I've been tagged out. Not yet, just about to get tagged out. If you survive, this is going to be crazy. There, been tagged out of the trade. So the trade on gold has ended up being a loss. 2 losses for the day. Not the ideal way to start the week, but still part and parcel of the trading process. As I said, I have a low win rate, so losses are part and parcel of my trading. I take more losses than I take wins, but I cap my losses at 1% maximum loss, and my wins have a high risk reward. So one win can compensate for 3 or 4 losses. Now that I've been tagged out of this trade, let's focus on the Euro JPY entry that I have on, which is also in drawdown. So I'm about 0.6% in drawdown on this trade right now, though I might get tagged out. Omar is still in the gold trade, or have you been tagged out? This is probably the longest stream I've done. But we're still waiting for the Euro JPY to see if I'm going to get tagged out. I had my stop just above this candle. We're just testing the highs of that candle. Either we're going to get tagged out or price now is start going to push lower aggressively. So let's wait and see. But this is a high probability sell. All the trades I've taken today are high probability trades. They just happen to be losses. Still waiting for that drop, reacting off of this high of this candle. That's why I had my stop just a little bit higher. I might still end up getting tagged out if we do not get a reaction to these levels. If price continues to push higher, then I'll probably get tagged out because price is very close to my stop. We have not yet touched the high. We're just about to test that high. So we've tested the high. Now, are we going to get a reaction or are we going to get tagged out? About to get tagged out of this trade. Let me see if I've survived. I've actually been tagged out of the trade. So, meaning that price has continued to push higher, just not reflecting on this feed. Okay, so I've been tagged out of all my trades today. So I've taken 3 trades and all of them have ended up being losses. So right now I'm just going to journal the trades. For me, these were high probability setups, which I was completely fine with. So I do not judge my performance based on the result of the trade, but based on if I actually followed my trading plan. And in all instances, all the trades were high probability setups, so it's completely fine. Now I'm not taking any more trades today. So you can see the price feed has caught up and I've been tagged out. Now, I don't know about you guys, Have you taken any trades, and are they how what was the turnout? Are they wins or losses? For me, I've taken 3 losses today. As I said at the start of the stream, tomorrow we have CPI, so I won't be involved in the markets. I'll be back on Wednesday to see if we can get some winning trades. Anyway, just because you take losses does not mean you don't show up the next time. This is part and parcel of trading, and by doing these live streams, I'm actually being very vulnerable with allowing you to see how I trade and when I do take my losses. So with time, you'll just get used to the losses, and you'll be able to see just how the wins offset these losses. For today, I've taken 2 losses, 3 losses, each capped at 1%, so that's a total of 3%, which is completely fine because with my wins, I can get a risk reward of 3, 4, 5, or even 6 or more, depending on the pair I'm trading. So 1 win is enough to cover for the losses that I've taken today. So if you guys don't have any other questions, I think that will be it for today's live stream. So I'm just going to give it some time to see if you guys have any questions. For those of you who are interested in the Discord, I'll have the link to the application process. For the application, it's not like a process, but I don't want it to be such a big community, so there will be some sort of applications just to see if you're the right fit for the type of community I'm looking to build. So if that is something you're still interested in, you can also email me. I have my email at the top of my page. You can go and check it out and just email me, and we'll be able to communicate from there. But as for now, since I'm not seeing any questions, that will be it for today's live stream. And we live to fight another day. So tomorrow I'm not live streaming, and I also won't be live streaming for the New York session because I've already taken the maximum number of trades I'd like to take in a day. So for now, that will be it for today's live stream. And I hope that for those of you who are still trading, that you have a profitable New York session. So for now, see you in the next one.